Well, I'm sure that you recognise these two men, Keir Starmer, Tony Blair, former Labour leader, current Labour leader. But do they agree when it comes to climate policy? I want first to read you a quote from Tony Blair. He has said this. Here we go. People are being asked to make financial sacrifices and changes in lifestyle when they know that their impact on global emissions is minimal. And he goes on to say, any strategy based on either phasing out fossil fuels in the short term or limiting consumption is a strategy doomed to fail. Well, remember, this government's strategy is to replace fossil fuels. They want to get to net zero by 2050. We have had a clarification from the people around Tony Blair today saying that they agree with government policy. And we've got this from the Prime Minister's spokesperson who's being asked about it. Good to see the Institute, that's the Tony Blair Institute, backing the government's approach. Broad consensus on this. So they are really playing down any rift, any disagreement between Keir Starmer and Tony Blair when it comes to climate policy. But I will let you decide what you think based on those words. There is politics here too, because we know that Reform and the Conservatives have created a dividing line on net zero. Have a listen to this.
Well, it was the Conservatives that started it, but Labour that have continued. But the net zero madness is closing down factories, is closing down industry on a scale we couldn't have even believed.
Making promises and not delivering is exactly the reason that the political class has lost trust. The only way that we can regain it is to tell the unvarnished truth. Net zero by 2050 is impossible.
I also want to talk to you about Grangemouth. This is the last oil refinery in Scotland and it has now stopped producing crude oil. I spoke to the Labour MP there, a man called Brian Leishman, and he had this to say.
I'm absolutely furious. It's just not good enough. It's not enough. The idea that £200 million from the National Wealth Fund to crowd in private investment, yes, that's welcome for the future, but where is the government ownership of these future industries?
Do you think that the Labour Party cares as much about Scotland as it does about other parts of the country? Obviously, we saw jobs in Scunthorpe being saved.
I think that's a very legitimate question to ask. There's striking similarities between Scunthorpe and Grangemouth has been let down at not getting the same treatment.
Well, I asked the Prime Minister's spokesperson about his claims that Scotland is effectively being treated differently to the rest of the country. They say they completely reject that, but the story that he wants to talk about that impacts his constituency in Scotland ties in to that bigger question of where we get our energy and how the government really plans to get to net zero by 2050.